Hey everybody, it's TPO. Good to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Brad Hussey with my friend and co-host Michael Janda. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm super good. It's the best day of my life.
Nice.
It's a total exaggeration. I'm actually kind of anxious.
Welcome to 2 Pixels Off, a podcast for creative entrepreneurs.
Today on the show, we got kind of an interesting format we're going to try out. We like to switch it up. Sometimes we like to just spontaneously choose a new format, and we like to see how it goes. So let us know in the reviews and the comments if you're watching on YouTube and wherever else you're watching it. Let us know what you think about our jokes, about our riffing on each other. We saw a comment. It was funny. You were just talking about it just a moment ago. It was like, came for the knowledge and stay for the Canada jokes or something like that.
Yes, it was good.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's funny.
Did you see the one? There was a comment on YouTube that somebody said, when Brad mentioned the garburator, I was waiting for Mike to chime in, and he did not disappoint. That's what he said.
And he did not. That's it.
He did not disappoint.
What? Hold on.
The garburator.
Timer stop. What in the heck is a garburator? And I'm like, what do you mean?
For real.
Did you go to school? So good. I love it. I love it. Well, we're going to experiment with the format here and see how it goes. But first, we want to shout out our friends over at Wix Studio for making the show possible, getting us together and allowing us to be spicy and have a lot of fun. Make sure to check them out, wixstudio.com. I have a ton of fun building on Wix Studio. I build pretty much all of my sites in it. I like experimenting with it, and I especially like the Figma to Wix Studio plugin. I'm about to do, actually, by the time this episode comes out, it will have happened. But I'm actually going on a live challenge on a YouTube channel where they pit two web designers or builders against each other using different platforms.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm going up against a WordPress guy. And so it's going to be WordPress versus Wix Studio, and it's going to be a surprise webpage that we get 30 minutes to build live and walk through our process and see how it goes.
What is the person using for WordPress for the builder? Is it like using Elementor or something? Do you know?
I think so. I've watched a couple of them. I'm doing some research and doing a little practice just to kind of get a feel for the format. And I watched a couple WordPress guys do it, and they used, it wasn't Elementor specifically. One guy built his own theme, but it was ultimately a visual builder. Yeah. And so I'm looking at these visual builders, and I was like, man, these don't hold a candle to Wix Studio's UI and the way that you build site. Oh, I'm so pumped to go on it. So hopefully, now that it's out as the time of when we publish this episode, hopefully I win, but
hopefully so. I'll be rooting for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's live. Shoot me a link, dude. I would want to watch it. I want to watch it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll shoot. Yeah. It's going to be next Wednesday at the time of this recording, but I'll send you a link. It'll be great. Okay. So yeah, a big shout out to our friends at Wix Studio. Like I said, I use the tool. I don't just like talking about it. I actually practice what I preach. Love the tool. And today we're going to do something different here. We have a list of some hot topics or specific categories that we are going to give like our short hot take on it. And we're going to do like a 1-minute piece of advice, just like timer style. And we're going to go back and forth and see what sort of interesting things we might be able to come up with. So without further ado, I think we should just jump right in.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. Okay.
These topics are creative business focused.
Yeah.
They're going to be the things like managing a rough client, pricing your work, managing project, how selling your service, finding your clients, that kind of stuff. The stuff that creative entrepreneurs are grinding through. Those are the topics, and we're going to try and give you just bite-size gold nuggets of content related to each of these topics. If you have 1 minute to share your best advice about X, what would it be?
Yeah. Avoid X on politics days is a good.
Yeah. So X, this sucks because X was the substitute for anything. And now because it's Twitter,
X.
we can't use it that way anymore because people
Exactly.
think what you did. X. I haven't been on X. I don't know. I pay my monthly fee to protect my name on X, my $11 a month or whatever. So fakers can't show up and steal my name. Anyway, I don't know. I'm giving them money. What am I doing?
You're doing it.
I'm not even sharing anything on the platform. All right, here we
There
go.
you go. Let's start with, and because I'm hosting, I'm going to have you go first. So we're going to give you a minute to give us your best advice, your golden nugget dipped in maple syrup about pricing work. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. And go.
Stop pulling numbers out of thin air. That's not how you price your work. It's not just sitting there going, oh, I think I'll price it this. You got to do an analysis. And the things you analyze are how much will it cost you to produce the work? What do other people like you charge for this same type of work? And what is the client's budget, or what is a reasonable budget for the client to have allocated to this type of project? You get a number for each of those three things. After you have that number, then you use your intuition to analyze those data points. 3,000 for your production cost, 5,000 for the client budget, 5,000 for the market value. You look at that and say, okay, I'm going to price this somewhere around 4,700 because I know I'm going to make 1,700 in profit on the project. But you got to do an analysis, not just pull numbers out of thin air.
There it is.
Is it ringing?
Nice.
Was it ringing?
It was. I chose like some weird little like arpeggio.
Sparkle?
Like I was trying
Ding,
to,
ding,
yeah,
ding, ding.
yeah. I need something like, I need something crazy, like,
Yeah.
there it is. We'll do a
The
barking
dog bark? Was that a dog bark?
That's a dog bark.
Dude, your noise gate on your microphone is so dialed in that you can't, I couldn't even hear it. I couldn't even hear it.
I got that quality mic set up here, Mike. You hear that?
You
Like
do.
it's just,
Mike.
I got a whole
The
rack
mic and
here.
the mic.
Mic and
All
the
right.
mic. That was good. Okay.
Let's see. Mine has a noise
Pricing.
gate. Mine has a noise gate, but I'm going to see if I can play. I'm going to turn up the volume on this so you clearly know. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Pricing by Brad Hussey, the Huss dog. Try and speak in a way that the people will understand. All right. You ready?
Lose
Here
the
we go.
accent, Brad.
And don't use like colloquialisms, keep it. This is a global audience. Here we go. Ready?
Okay.
And go.
Okay. I'm going to actually piggyback or tee off of what Mike set me up to do here. Once you know all those numbers and you use the data, that's going to become second nature. You don't need to go to the drawing board and look at your charts and your spreadsheets to understand these things. It's good to review them, sure, but it's going to become second nature. And what I like to say to a lot of my students, especially as the experienced freelancers and the people who are trying to grow and get bigger and better and make more money, is most of your business problems will be solved if you just make a lot more money. And so if you charge premium, instead of taking what you think it's going to cost, double it. And then find out, how can I justify that price in terms of value or what they get? So take what you think it should be in terms of the cost or what you want to price and double that price. And then think for a sec, how can I justify this price? If you do that, a lot of your business problems will be solved. That was loud.
That's what I'm talking about. It is loud. That's how it should be. Okay. I like what you just said. I like and I never took that approach, but if you look at it and say the price isn't as important as you justifying the value of what you want to charge. So I love that concept of, okay, let's double it just as a form of exercise even.
Yeah.
What if I double my price? How can I justify that to the client? How can I give so much that it's a no-brainer to choose me?
Yeah, exactly.
And then if you can do that, the price doesn't matter. The client will say yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been in so many situations as a consumer, or maybe not a consumer, from a business perspective, buying things for the business, whether that's investing in something or purchasing a material good or equipment, to software and subscriptions, and being on the receiving end of charging for projects that are $50 and charging for projects that are $50,000. There are times that I will charge for something, and to the average person who doesn't know the context, they might look at this price. Let's call it the $10,000 one-page website I did. I tell that to people and they'll go, that's just bonkers. Not a chance. I charge $500 per page. Why are you charging $10,000 per page? And I go, okay, well, there was a lot of context involved and we won't go into that right now. But at the end of the day, the client had no problem paying that in full. Now, the page there was a lot of pressure. There was a really big launch. New York, like Times Square was involved. Like there was going to be big promotions and this movie premiere. So there's a lot. Client had budget. Client had urgency. Client's previous freelancer ghosted on them. There's a lot riding on it. And it was more expensive to not do it. It would have cost them more in opportunity, in like the barrage of people that were coming to them. So I said, I'll take care of it for you, but it's $10,000 and I'll make sure it's ready before this big premiere. And it's just one page. I'm not doing a full web page, like a website. And the answer was, okay, thank you. Are you sure you can get this done before that day? Absolutely. 100%. That's what was $10,000. Now there were times that I'm pulling at teeth to get a client to give me $1,000 and they're asking for payment plans. So then what I realize is price is arbitrary. It almost is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. It's so relative that it really comes down to the value and the situation. A lot of the time we're undercharging. So I always just say double what your price is anyway, because you're probably undercharging and working with thin margins, and you shouldn't be. If you're doing $10,000 one-page websites or some version of that, which is a lot, you're going to do okay because you got a healthy profit margin. That's kind of why I took that take.
I like it. Okay. Price is relative to the amount of pain the client is in. And if you can get them out of pain quickly and the pain is severe, they will pay a lot to get out of it. And your client example there, $10,000 for a landing page, but they were in pain. They didn't have another option. They needed it by a specific deadline because there were Times Square ads that were going to launch. It had to happen. You had a client with severe pain, severe fear, and you can charge higher dollars to get them out of that pain. If you have a client that you're like pulling teeth to get $1,000 out of them and they want payment plans, they're not in pain. Their business is not in pain enough for them to go and do whatever they got to do to be able to get themselves out of the pain.
Yeah, that's it. That's really what it comes down to is how deep is that suffering in their business?
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it doesn't exist, or maybe it does, and you just haven't figured out what it is so that you can really help them and not just provide some sort of convenient service.
Yeah. And it's not always business related. Like the pain, we worked with a lot of big clients, and the marketing manager who was given a budget line item for a project, what was their pain? You have to understand what their pain is. And what was their pain? It was they want to look good for their boss. They have to hit the deadline or they're going to look bad. And they have to do it under the budget line item that they got. That's what they want. It's all just about their personal interest in the success of the project is just to have good reputation in their work environment. That's what it was. It wasn't because if they spend more money on this thing, it's actually going to make the company more money. Most of them didn't care. They didn't care because that money that the campaign or the landing page was going to make wasn't going to ever come back into their own pocket. So you have to take a minute to understand the client's real problem or their real pain point, and it does impact the pricing. Okay, you could be careful though, because some people will be listening saying, well, Brad's just taking advantage
Right.
of somebody who was in pain. But this is the other thing. If you say yes to the project at a certain price, you are taking on the client's problem. You're saying, I accept your problem.
Yeah.
Because the client's problem, in your case, the client's problem was Times Square ads going up. They had to have a landing page because the ads were going to run. The client has that problem. Brad doesn't have that problem until Brad says to the client, here's my price. And if you give me this amount of money, I will take your problem and I will make it my problem. And so it was a severe problem that Brad accepted from the client. So you got to look at it that way too and say, okay, Brad wasn't gouging them. They had a severe problem and Brad took it on for himself. Good for him. But you should charge accordingly because it was a severe problem.
It was. And to be fair, in that one day of delivery, I never work after hours as a general rule in my business. I'm at the stage now where I don't need to do it. I built this as a lifestyle business. The whole point for me is family first, flexibility, freedom, and autonomy with my time. And so as a rule, I won't work after business hours. I don't do any of it. I don't care how urgent it is. It's generally my rule. And I've set my business up that way so I can afford to do that. Now, this was an exception. I said, I will take care of it. I will take that problem and make it my problem. And it was a big problem. I basically blocked off the rest of the evening. Kids and the wife were having a movie night with popcorn. And I was like holed up in my studio. And I said, I'm working like all night. And I was on phones with like old contractors that they had that like had passwords that would ghost them. So I'm like hunting them down and trying to call them, racking up my Canada to US long distance phone bill. I bought software. I did a whole bunch of things and I took on a bunch of, miscellaneous expenses on my own dime. They weren't huge expenses, a few $100s here and there. But in order for me to solve this problem that I took as my own, knowing that they have this like Monday or Tuesday debut with news and all this sort of stuff. And I said, I will solve it for you, but this is the price for me to solve it. And you need to do it my way. Because if you can't do it my way, it won't get done by Monday. So give me this, give me this, give me this. It's pay in full. I'm not hunting you down. I'm not for money. I'm not doing any of it. In order for me to say yes to this, because I recognize this is a huge deal, it has to be this way. And they had no problem with it, no regrets. They had a great end result, great end product. And in fact, what ended up happening was they made clients do this sort of stuff. I would say mistake by finding an old contractor of theirs to take over the website and manage it after it when the pain was gone and it was kind of more manageable.
Yeah.
And basically demolished my work. Whatever I got paid, I solved the problem. It was meant to be, a problem solved rather than a long-term sort of thing. Though the site was incredible. The page looked great. I was very proud of the work. But their old designer or whatever just trashed it. And they ended up emailing me like sometime later saying, is there any way you could fix this for us? Like we made the grave error of not following up with you to just carry this on. But that was, beside the fact. My point is they valued my work so much that they realized by finding a cheaper version, which I would have gave a better price for ongoing work. They kind of hurt themselves. And so they recognize the value in, buy it nice or buy it twice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because that's an exact example of the pain was gone. So their budget went down. So they look for a cheaper solution because their pain wasn't severe anymore. So I think that's an interesting example of exactly what I'm trying to articulate here. It's that it's pain relative, prices relative to the amount of pain the client's in. Oftentimes. I mean, you could say even when a client is like wants to destroy one of their competitors, Like, I just want to get the market share of my competitor. That's still like jealousy, emotional pain, or ambition, emotional pain that they feel because they want to conquer. So anyway, all right, Brad, we just spent like 11 or 12 minutes on hot take number 1. I don't know how we're going to get through 7 things in this episode. We're not. So we can let's go back to hot takes and see if we could talk about price. We could have an entire podcast dedicated to pricing. So
it could be called
like
2 prices off, and we could just talk
prices off. Yes, exactly.
Okay, how about we try it this way? Let's do a couple more of these, and we got plenty of material to experiment with future episodes. So let's get your hot take.
Okay.
Okay, get it ready here. Here it is. Hot take. Mike's hot take on finding clients. You ready? Go.
Okay. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. It's a cliche. That's who they do business with. So if you want more clients, you have to get to know more people. You have to get those people to like you. You have to get those people to trust you. You're not going to be able to do that sitting at your computer waiting for an email to pop into your inbox off of some generic form on your homepage. That's not going to happen. You have to get out of your chair. You have to go get into networking circles. You have to if you stay in your chair, you have to get into groups, online communities, and you have to start interacting with other people to build likability and trustability so that you can get more work. That, for creative entrepreneurs, is the number one way that you'll find clients.
You did it before the timer even finished.
When it's said, it's said. I didn't even have to keep going. Did that even beep?
You can't even hear it.
Oh, I heard a little tiny ping.
A little ding, ding, ding. I'm just going to say
turn up
ding,
the
ding.
volume? Turn up the volume. Make it like aggressive, man. You got to like no volume. So coming out of your headphones.
My ringer was on low. That's all it was.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yes! Brad, it's technology, man. There's a volume button. You can just push it. Push the volume button on the top. There's 2 buttons. The one on the top is what makes it go up. The one on the bottom makes it go down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get your son. You got a son, right? He's like 2 years old. Go get him. He'll help you. He'll help you.
He's 9, but
okay.
But probably my 3-year-old daughter knows
probably
what these are.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Who would have thunk it, right?
It's craziness.
Volume up. See, I have
right,
old school dials. All right.
We're going to go for Brad's hot take on finding clients and go.
Okay, finding clients, that's the easy part. They're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. They could be close connections, friends, families. I call it first, second, and third connections. And so finding clients to me is not the problem. They're literally everywhere. It's about being interesting to them and being remarkable and having something to offer in exchange for the value that you give them. You need to know what their problem is, and you need to know what you're going to do about solving that. And everybody's got problems. So you need to focus on something, focus on an area. And I always come back to my specific service doing email marketing funnels for creators. I just talked to 2 friends that I met at conferences on the phone with no purpose of selling them at all. They told me about their email marketing problems. I said, dude, we got to talk about this here. And I sent them my page, and I got a couple DMs saying, when can we get started? It's really, I'm out of time, but they're everywhere. It's just a matter of actually talking with somebody that you want to be able to help.
Okay, I like that perspective. They are everywhere. So the only way you're not going to find any clients is if you don't try at all. You just sit there waiting for them to show up to you. If you go out, you're going to find clients. Get out of your basement and go find them. They're out there.
You're right. Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income. I don't know if our listeners are aware of Pat Flynn. Do you know Pat Flynn from SPI?
I don't know. No.
Oh,
no.
you I've been a big Pat Flynn fan for a long time, but he's one of the OG passive income blogger guys, and he's a really cool family guy, and he's been very successful. He doesn't even really do SPI stuff now. I think anyway, it's kind of self-managed by his team, and he's doing like a YouTube channel about Pokemon cards. It's kind of totally off. But anyway, he's bought enough success that he's able to like go and do his passions. But the point is he said one thing on a podcast, his podcast, a smart passive income podcast. This was years ago. I was walking and listening to it in my earbuds, and he said, there are so many people in the world that are connected to the internet. All you need is to sell to 1,000 of them. And now I'm taking it out of context, but he said 1,000 people out of the millions upon millions who are connected to the internet, or more maybe. If you don't think you could sell to 1,000 of them, you're crazy. So they're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. It's a matter of focus and dialing in. What are you about? What do you bring to the table? Who do you care to spend a lot of time and energy and thinking around? So your customers, what do they actually struggle with, and how can you help them? And then just go to them. They're on Twitter. They're on LinkedIn. They're at a conference. They're at the coffee shop. They're at the BNI. I was just at like a gala for like my wife's high school. It was an anniversary. And I talked to like a whole bunch of people there. Half of them are business owners. You shoot the breeze. You talk. Hey, I'll give you a call on Monday. They're everywhere. Get confident with talking to people. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna simplify this even more. If you think about being a creative entrepreneur, you don't need even 1,000 clients. You don't need 100 clients. You need, for most of you listening to this, to have a 6-figure business, you need 10 clients that each give you 100,000. Well, that give you $10,000 per year each, which is $8,333 or something like that per year. You need 10 clients that will give you $8,000-ish per year in business. Wait, is that right? No.
Yeah.
83,000.
Right.
12.
Yeah, 10 people. Basically, if you got 10 people paying you $1,000 a month on average, right?
Yeah. Then you have a
right?
$120,000 business. Yeah. You have a $120,000 business. So you don't even need that. You need 9 people to pay you $9,111 a month or whatever the math is. That's what you need. 9 people to pay you $1,010 per month. Man, this math is getting all kinds of crazy here.
You gotta bust out that old calculator.
Yeah, I do have it. I just used it. Analog for the win. It's a Casio, man. It's Casio.
It's classic.
Casio.
I love it.
So think
true.
about that. Like if you're sitting there saying to yourself, you're feeding yourself the lie, it's hard to find clients. It's hard to find clients. You don't need 100 clients. You need 10 clients. And you have a 6-figure business. 10 clients. That is doable for for most of you.
Yeah. The distance between you at your stage of like starting from nothing or like just getting started to like actually being able to do it full time, barring any sort of like geographical issues or personal issues, or, if you got an average person with an average, access to information and technology, you got what basically the billionaires have access to, the same tools on the internet, the same knowledge and information. So my point here is like the distance between starting from nothing and like being like, I could do this full time with like a modest income. And let's call it like, 70,000 a year. You want to grow more than that, especially if you're providing for a family or you live in like the West or Canada, US, in certain places. It's expensive. So even if we said 100,000, it sounds like crazy talk. But even if it's just getting started on the side, that distance is so close. I remember this from many, many years ago. One of the first people I hired to help me with basically as a virtual assistant, essentially. I asked her story, and she said, like, I was working as a nurse, or I was doing, something that I didn't want to do, and I wanted to quit and be with my kids and be home. But I needed $3,000 a month. I just needed that just to know that I was going to be able to figure it out. And from there, I could make it work. And so she's like, so all I did was, I was like, what am I really good at? Social media management, scheduling, automations, and there's a lot of people who need social media. I have a few people in connections. I only need 10 people paying me $300 a month to hit my $3,000 a month. So to hit my $3,000 a month goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said within a few weeks, she had all 10 clients booked, maybe even a couple more. And she was making her full $3,000 to $3,500 a month, and was able to confidently leave her old job and focus exclusively on growing this business, doing social media management. And it was like the distance between, I really want to do this, to, I think I can do it. What's that number? 10 people paying me 300. Okay, I'm going to go do that. And she found 10 people to give her $300 a month. And that was it. And then you grow from there. So where do you find clients? They're everywhere. It's about finding your offer for them and then going to talk to them. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to remark on that because that was a great little nugget you shared too on the offer. Figure out what problem you're freaking solving for them, and then go tell the people that are out there that have that problem that you're available and you can solve the problem for them. That's what it is. But you got to figure out your offer based on the problem you're solving. Oh, we help clients share their content on social media. That's what we do. There's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You don't know what to share. We take care of that for you. We're going to understand your business. We're going to share it on there. We're going to build your audience on social media platforms. That's what we do. It's a problem for you. We will take on that problem. It's $300 a month. Man, that's an offer. Now you can go to every single potential client anywhere and say, how are you handling your social media? Is it stressful to you? Because what we do is we take away that stress and we share your content on social media. We'll just run with it for you and build your audience. That's a great, but you have to know your offer. Otherwise, you're just wandering around saying, anybody want to design? I can design something. Yeah, anybody need something? That's what you're walking around doing. I did it in the early days. I was like,
who needs a website?
Brad, I can't say, I was like, it was the graphic design horror metaphor. It's a little crass, but the idea was whatever you need, pay me money, whatever you need. That's too edgy. Don't listen to that part.
Photoshop floozy.
Kids at home, don't listen to that part. But that was the mindset. I can design stuff. You need something designed, I can design it. That's no offer.
Yeah, it's no offer. And it's not, it might get you one or two people who kind of disrespect what you do. And in the world now where we've got Canva, and we've got AI, and we've got, like Wix Studio, where you can generate, you could kind of go from 0 to 1 instantly. There's not much value in that anymore. So you actually have to have, now you've been given permission to be specifically specialized and to niche down. You have your permission to not be generalist anymore. And it's not that hard. We overcomplicate things. I'm going to tell one other quick thing, and then maybe we have time for one more hot take.
We do one more. Yeah.
Okay. I was on Twitter X, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and in the feed that came up, there was a post that was by an influential designer who I respect, and I think is probably right in this person's take on the topic. But it was basically if I had 90 seconds to create a design system for you, here's what I would do. And for those listening who don't know what a design system is, it's just basically a set of rules for your design, for your app, your product, your website. It's typically around product design. So designing your Airbnb app and your website for, Tesla or Starlink or whatever, any digital product you use, there's product designers who figure out how does this work? And design systems keep everything unified and kind of centralized and consistent so that the buttons are similar and all of that. So I think it's great, especially for big teams and big tools. But so it was if I had 90 seconds to like tell you to design a system for you, design system for you, here's exactly what I do. So I was like, oh, I'm curious to hear your take on it. And I was so bored that I couldn't finish the 90 seconds because at at no point of the whole thing did this person tell me how to make a design system in 90 seconds. It wasn't about that. It was about the obvious corporate blah, blah, blah. And again, bless this guy's soul. You know, I think what he's doing is right for the right audience, but I was like, give me a design system in 90 seconds. I want to see it. How do you do your buttons? Typography. What are the sizes? Golden ratio? What are we doing? And it was like, talk to your stakeholders. It's team, it's collaboration, it's empathy. And I'm like, all right, okay, maybe not. What's next? And then he's like, and then it's understanding the needs of the team's desires. And you're like, no, I don't think so. Okay, what's next? And it was like, and then we have a meeting and we just like have a big, you know, thing. And it's a big, and then it's like, come on, like get me the design system. Show me your Figma. And at no point did it tell me. And then one of the follow-up comments was, how about just draw rectangles? And I was like, that's the answer I was looking for. Look, the guy was probably right. If you're working on a big team in corporate and you're doing software for like Figma or Airbnb or Apple, you have big powwows about like, what's the empathy here? And what are the feelings and the stakeholders' unique scenarios and goals and yada, 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 boring. Blah. But at the end of the day, you're just drawing damn boxes and lines. Let's remember that. Okay. Yeah, sure. We're solving problems and yada, yada. But at the end of the day, someone's opening that Figma file and going rectangle, rounded corner 20. Boop. That's it. So don't overcomplicate the dang thing. Finding clients, they're everywhere. Yeah. Understand the problems, empathy, blah, blah, blah. Read a book about this and network, blah, blah, blah. It's a person with the problem and you're selling design or creative services. It's not that complicated. Don't complicate it more than it needs to be.
Yeah. Okay. What's the problem that they all have? 90% of everything that happens in business is to solve the same problem. And that's how do we get more customers? That's what Apple, all their design systems and all their stuff is. How do we get people to buy more of our products? And the great UI and everything on your iPhone and all that stuff is because how do we get people to keep buying our product? Every year we launch the new version. How do we get them to keep buying, keep buying, keep buying? That's what it is. Like at the end of the day, if you can wander around and tie everything that you do to somehow helping your potential client find more customers and land more customers, that's the big problem. So try and figure out that. Even the social media example that you gave. Okay, the offer, we do social media marketing. It's $300 a month. And you know what we'll do? We're going to do XYZ every month or every week or every day or whatever. And it is going to help you build an audience that will convert to more paying customers. That's the problem. That's the big problem. So wander around, walking, looking for clients. That's what you're trying to solve. Help them get more customers. What business? It's business.
It's business. I love it. Do we have time for one more hot take, you think?
We do. One more hot take. Okay. Probably less stuff, less banter, but I like some of these gems. Okay.
Yeah, this unearthed.
Here we go.
All right. So the next and final one for today's episode. Hot take. Mike's hot take on selling your services in 1 minute and go.
Don't be afraid to ask for the sale. That's at the root of it. Like a lot of times we sit in a meeting with a potential client and we're sitting there being like, okay, this is good. I'm talking, hey, how's your business doing? What are some of the problems you're facing? Blah, blah, blah. And we have fear about saying, you know what? I can help you with that. I can help you with that problem. I can help you find more customers. I can design social media posts that will get you more audience, that will get you more customers. That's what I can do for you. I would love to work with you. What can we do to work together? Ask for it. Don't be afraid to ask for it. Tell them how you can help them and then ask for the sale. We're way, way, way too timid about asking for the sale.
There it is.
Brad
Nailed
waits
that
the
one.
last 4 seconds. There's silence in TPO land. He's waiting for the last 4 seconds.
Gives you
For
a
those
moment.
of you that are not watching the video version, that's Brad. He's standing there. He's holding
Holding that
his
timer up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I let it ring.